Okay, sweet. So, this week's work, let's get on to it. Last week, congratulations on the people who did do it. Bit of revision, it's good for you. This is actually my second attempt at doing this stream. For some reason, the last one died halfway through. So, starting again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way through the examples of each level of the work that has been posted to you on the Mr. B's Maths web page. I'm going to do one example from each level. There's actually 3 in each level. Well, I'm going to do slight modifications on them, so I'll change the numbers slightly so you can sort of not copy me. The thing that you need to do this week is 1, do the box of doom. That's what the worksheet's called. It's not really the box of doom, obviously. It's just a starting place to see where you are at with multiplication strategies. It's nothing new. Well, nothing new for some of you and lots new for some of you. That's okay. We're finding out where you are. Once you've done that, I want you to go through and choose 3 of the problems that you would answer in a different way. So 3 problems that you think would be easier to answer in a different way. That's the job. Nothing fancy. Just say, oh, I would rather do this problem this way, and then explain yourself. Okay? So I'm going to go through, choose one example from each line, or pretty much that example, and do it. Cool. Here we go. So I'm going to choose this one here, the 23 times 41, and I'm going to just modify it slightly, okay? So instead of 23 times 41, I'm going to go 43 times 21. Wham! What? So the problem with this, just go 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, then put a 0 down because you're on this. You're now doing the tens column. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Add these lines. That and that is 3. That and that is 0 with carry 1. And that's 9. Okay, awesome. 903 would be the answer. See the strategy? So we're just using algorithm today. We're not doing anything fancy. We're just using algorithm. We're going to talk about the strategies later after you've done this worksheet. So as I said earlier, everybody's going to choose 3 problems that they think could be solved another way easier, and then from that I'll use that as sort of reference on where you are with strategies, and we'll go on to an actual strategy, or another strategy other than. So the next problem. This is where it cut out the first time. Okay, so I'm going to do one very similar to the middle one, because actually that to me looks like the hardest one. This one here is actually the the 371 times 101 is actually a really easy question. So I'm going to go 213. Oh no, I'm going to do 212 times 70. 212 times 77. We'll give you a different answer, by the way. So it's not the same answer. So 7 times 2. So what I like to do here is I like to put columns. Because I'm doing this is weird, but because I'm doing 2 stages of multiplication, I need to keep myself really clear here. So I like you guys can use your books, but for me I don't have them because I'm writing bigger just to make it easier to see. So 2 times 7 is 14. So I'm writing the 4 down here. I'm going to write the 1 up here. And then 7 times 1 is 7, which adds to 8, because you're adding that 1 on. And 7 times 2 is 14. Now we start on the tens column. 7 times 2 is 14. Now this time, 7 times 2 is 14. I'm writing the 1 there. sheesh, 7 times 2 is 14. So 4 there and the 1 there. It's confusing because you're already starting 1 across here, so your lines get a bit funky. 7 times 7 times 1 is 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then 7 times 2 is 14 again. Now we add those numbers together. 4. So 4 and 0 is 4. Now these ones I keep down here, see? So 8 and 4 is 12. So, oopsie, the 2 looks awful. 2 and 1. And then 8 and 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3, 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. And 1. Let's see whether I got it right. My answer is 16,324. Let's just check that out. 212 times 77. 16,324 is the right answer. Thank goodness. It would be embarrassing if I got that wrong live. Ah. Should have had stuff pre-prepared. Or not. It's good for you guys to see me actually do it in real life, not fake it. Here's one I've prepared earlier, like those cooking shows. Okay, so here's where we might get interesting for some people. Row 3 is basically a decimal place times a whole number, just a normal number. So, you know, I could easily choose the 1.5 times this one here. That would be so easy, but let's not choose that. I'm going to choose one that is very similar to the hardest one. 5 point... No, actually, because if I explain it with the hardest one, I might lose you. I'll explain it with the middle one. 3.1 times 14. Now, I've already written that out wrong. That looks awful. So I'm going to rewrite it once I've made your screen bigger. The reason why that's awful is I haven't kept my columns. So let's just write it out again properly. One 4 times 3.1. Now that's how you properly write it out. But already I'm going to talk to you about a little strategy for this, because that's already looking confusing to a lot of people. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the easiest rule for multiplying decimal places. And that simple rule is, how many decimal places do you have? I have 1. So I just write it up here. And then I get rid of them. So now I'm just going to deal with it as like 14 times 31. 1 times 4, which is easy. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Then I add them together. So 4, 3, 5, and then I put the decimal place in. Because I have 1 DP, I've just written it up here, I've remembered it, then I put it back in. 1 DP, 1 decimal place back in. That's always been how I've done it, and it consistently gets you the right answer. Let's just double check that. Again, be relatively embarrassing if I didn't get it right. My calculator fingers are not good. I think my brain is better than my calculator fingers. I just wrote it in wrong. I have done something wrong. Cool. So let's go. Oh my goodness. Look, 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. I went, just so you know, 4, I added that to there. It's because I was trying to think too fast. The answer is 43.4, not 44.4. So just to reiterate, 14 times 3, 31. Again, I'm moving that. So what I did wrong is I was working too fast trying to scurry through it. That's the thing that always caused me issues, and probably always causes a lot of your issues. So make sure you go slow. 3 times 1. Man. 1 times 4. 4. 1 times 1. 14. The top row was always right. Put a 0 in. 3, 12. So write the 2 in. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus the 1 is 4. 4, 3, 4. Now you put the decimal place in one. So, good that you saw a mistake and you saw how I fixed it. You know, that's the value in checking your own work. Cool. And that's how I would recommend you do this exercises. Go through your questions, answer your question, then check it. Don't cheat yourself. Don't go cheating yourself and cutting corners, because you're not going to get anything out of it. Do the working, do it hard, and then figure out whether you're right. Okay, last line. So I've left this question here for Tane and Ted. Like to see you do it in a full algorithm. Tane, Ted, Joe, Pippa, anybody who wants to have a go at it. But I'm not gonna use that as the example, because that would just be a nightmare for half the class would look at that and go 32.879 times 21.345. But the strategy is the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to amp it up a little bit on this. Probably I'll do something like this one, but I'll amp it up a little bit. So here we go. Instead of going 5.7 times 9.4, I'm going to go 5.72 times 9. Okay. So I've made my life harder. Just in case you didn't recognize that, I'm going 5. So I have literally made my life way harder just to give you the example. So the key to this, before we do anything else, is remembering 4 decimal places, because 1, 2, 3, 4. So I write that up there, 4 DP. This is my little note to myself. Now I'm going to pretend that they didn't exist. I can rewrite the problem. 5.72. Without 572 times 941. Man, I am not making my life fun. First line. Oh, this is not. I'm not going to have enough space. I'm going to write it out on another page. 572 times 941. 4 DP. So I need to put those 4 DP into my answer. 572 941 times 941. Joyous. So I'm going to do 1 times everything, the first line, so the answer is actually quite simple. It's 2, because 1 times 2, 7, 5. So that's easy. Now I'm going to put a 0 in. Here we go. 4 times 2 is 8. Yes, didn't need any carrying. Oh, I better put my lines in for carrying. 4 times 7. Oh no. 2 times 7 is 14. Double that, it's 28. So I put the 8 here, and I carry the 2. Then my next one, 4 times 5 is 20. So first I've got to do this. I've got to slow down here because I'm going too fast. So that was 28. This one was 8. This one's 28. 8. This one's 28. I put that there. This one is 20. And I'm going to add that 2 to it. So it's actually going to be 22. Just 22. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2, so it's 22. So my first line was this. My second line was this. My third line, now I have to add 2 zeros. Oh, 9 times 2 is 18. 1, 8. So 9 times 2. 9 times 7. 7 nines are 63. Plus 1 is 64. And 9 times 5 is 45. 9 fives are 45 plus 6 is 51. This will be a good test for me. It's a lot of fun. 2. So now I'm adding. Now when I'm adding columns, I add my things up here. So 2. That's a 7 and an 8. That's 15. 8 and 8 is 16 plus 5 is 21 plus 1 is 22. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. And plus 5 by itself. And now I put my 4 DP, my 4 decimal places back in. So obviously it's cool to be able to do this yourself. I find it cool to be able to do yourself because it's like, you know, not a lot of people can do that off the top of their head. Let's see whether I was right. What was my actual original question? Flip back to my original page so I can write it in correctly. 5.72 times 9.41. Here we go. 53.825. Yes, 8252. Nailed it. I shouldn't be so excited about that, but I am. I love maths. It's great fun. So that's the first part of your assignment. I've basically done examples of every one, so you can sort of see roughly how you do it, each one. Once you've done those, so that's all just algorithm strategy. Once you've done those, I want you to go back, have a look at ones that you could address with a different strategy. Now, I'm saying that, but I'm not asking you to know another strategy. Like, I'm just asking to hear your thinking at this point in time. So, like, for example, my thinking on 12 times 31, whoopsie, my thinking on 12 times 31, I could think, just so you sort of seeing an example, 12 times 31, yeah, you could do it like that. Or you could go 12 times 3 is 36 and add a 0. So that's what you're essentially doing, is using place value here, and then 12 times 1 is 12. 372. So what I did is, instead of going, I know my times 12 times tables, I know it's 12, 24, 36, 48, etc, etc, etc. So instead of going, instead of doing this properly, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times is 3, oops, forgot to add that 0 here, and then adding them together, 372. Instead of doing that, I literally just thought 3 times 12 is the same as 30 times 12, except for I just add a 0 at the end. So 3 times 12 is 36, add the 0, and then 1 times 12, well, that's 12. That's really easy. So you don't have to do official hardcore explanations. I just want to see your thinking on 3 questions that you think would be easier to answer using a different strategy. I can see 3 that, you know, like easy, you know, place value for question 7. I'm just giving you answers now. I've got to stop. Okay. What the heck am I doing? Place value for question 7 would be easy. But that's it. Have a good week. Do all those questions and